Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, April 4th, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating today's session. As always, if you got any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area. We'll be sure to get to it during the show. Overnight markets here at May corn down 4 3/4 at 452 3/4. May soybeans were down 23.5 at 988, and May Chicago wheat was down 10 at 526. No export sales announcements here this morning. We did get jobs report was out at 7:30 Central. Payrolls were up better than expected by quite a bit. They were up 228,000. The estimates were looking for a number closer to 140,000. However, unemployment rate did slightly increase more than expected. They were looking for a number of 4.1. We actually came in at 4.2%. It was enough to rally the Dow slightly off the lows here this morning, but equities are still getting hammered here. Dow's down a little over 1,000. S&Ps are down 138. Bond markets are stronger here. So, guys, we've made it to Friday. Thank God. We've got, I guess the biggest news of the day here early this morning, China retaliating, slapping a 34% retaliatory tariff on all imported goods. So they went strong and went across the board. And unfortunately, I think this administration here in the United States made it pretty clear not to retaliate, and they went and did it. So early this morning, around 4 o'clock or so, it was enough to drive new crop beans below $10 here. That's where we sit. Jace, maybe a few thoughts from your desk, and we'll do our best to wrap up the week here.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah, we're having fun. That's that's the most important thing. No, it's not fun to see this kind of stuff, and
No.
we went through this first Trump administration, so we shouldn't be too surprised. Trump's going to do Trump things, and the tariffs that he put out yesterday, I think had everybody kind of pulling their hair and not making sense of it, because it doesn't necessarily add up and make a whole lot of sense. It's just a blunt object, I think, to get people to the negotiation table.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to work. It's a dangerous game he's playing, that's for sure. You'd hate to, your trading partners and we're really going after China, I think, is the idea, right? I mean, we're in a Cold War with China, an economic Cold War. The Chinese have come out and stated it, right? We're preparing for war with the U.S. So you would hope that we can renegotiate with our Western alliances on trade, and that we don't drive these partners over to China, right? Which I think is the scary thing, and what makes markets even that much more nervous, as it relates to grains, obviously beans down quite a bit. If this trade war continues, we could see more pressure on that new crop. Obviously, we haven't even planted it yet. Good thing we got a lot of these protections in place for corn and beans, so it buys us some time. So I don't have a big price prediction on beans, right? I mean, I think the last time we went through a trade war with China, I think beans traded down into the 850 range or something like that. So that's probably what your risk is here, I would say, as far as price goes. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Crop insurance and government payments. I mean, at this point, you just go plant, right? I mean, you can't beat a dead horse. I mean, just go plant and feel confident that you've done the heavy lifting with your crop insurance, and you got your be sure you make the right election before April 15th on your government program, and then see where the chips fall. I mean, what else do you do here?
Yeah, and we've been doing some, these last couple of weeks, as we've been worried about tariffs and trade wars, as cheap options. I mean, volatility is picking up, obviously, in the last couple of days in beans because of this break. But if you get a little bit of reprieve and a little bit of a bounce, and volatility tends to get kind of hammered, if beans pop a little bit, just some cheap option plays might be something to carry you into the growing season. Like I said, that's what we've been doing, is just putting some kind of price floor on it for a couple of months until this thing shakes out. So obviously those are the kinds of things you can look at. Obviously crop insurance, if you bought up in crop insurance and beans, you're technically in a payment, at your expected yield or at expected county yields.
Mhm.
So, for whatever that's worth, right? You got some kind of protection level on. So I don't think you panic by any means, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anybody knows how it all shakes out. Hopefully we can work through these things and we get to a spot where we're, have some kind of trade deal, right, with China. I don't know. I think it's going to drag on personally with China, and I think we'll get deals done with, like I said, with our, European trading partners, and hopefully that, has some relief.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. There, I think the EU is slated. Their trade representatives are slated to meet with the White House here today. So, I mean, it's happening. That there's, the ball's rolling. People are calling. I think might have been Australia last night. Called right away, and they're starting to move away from tariffing us to get them released, and so it's. I guess it's sort of working. I don't know what that means yet, but
I think they don't tell you a whole lot, right? But that's got to be their plan A, right?
Right.
It's to shock it all. Okay, come to the table so that we can talk and we can finally get some of these, BS trade practices you guys have on us and come to some kind of agreement. Because if these are the tariffs and we just stick with them, I mean, it's going to be a massive global recession.
Yeah, JP Morgan's up to 60% after yesterday.
Yeah, so that can't be the case. I mean, it's just not good politically. It's not good economically. Nobody wins. So I can't imagine that. Everybody's like in lockstep in this administration, right? Trump talked and he showed the tariffs, and they're all laughing and clapping, and like these are not stupid people.
Correct.
These are people from Wall Street and from big companies, and so I can't imagine they, put these numbers out and they're going to stick to them for a extended period of time.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that Secretary Lutnick's going to go on all the major channels and tout this plan if he believes it's blowing it up. I mean, I don't know. And we talk about it, and as bad as it sounds, I mean, these people care about midterms. I mean, midterms are going to be enormous this year. You've got a tight, you're still tight between the House and the Senate. And if he wants to get, he could be a lame duck for half of his term if he doesn't do well in the midterms.
Yeah,
it has to be on the forefront of his mind.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, and you're already seeing stuff like that, right? Like Apple said they're going to invest $500 billion in, to be making product inside the United States. So I think any kind of like direction towards that, I think you get relief. Right. I think this administration wants to see like, okay, you guys have to start. I know we can't do it tomorrow. Right. But all these, if we want to onshore a lot of this manufacturing, we need companies to take this administration seriously, or at least this is their, I think, point. Take us seriously. This is what we want. If you show that you're making that steps to get there, then maybe we have tariff relief. Right. Because you're going to have to lay off people. They're going to go. I mean, I got a bunch of college buddies that work at different companies in the U.S. and they're panicking, right? These companies are like, we can't, get, we have all these imports and we can't get them onshore. We don't make them in the U.S. Right. So we have to make investments in the U.S. and that's going to take time. Or we got to pay these huge tariffs, and we can't afford to pay these tariffs, and with to lay off a bunch of people. Like all these conversations are going on in every company across the United States right now. If you have an international product, multinational product or whatever, which is a lot. It's a big part of our economy. So it's I think we're going to be talking about this for weeks to come. So.
Well, the good news, we get the boys back next week, and then they can take it.
yeah, you hear it right, exactly.
Hey, what do you guys think about China just like kind of manipulating the market here? Get the prices lower and then come to the table and start buying it a lot cheaper than where it was at. You never could put it past them, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, you definitely hope so.
I mean, I guess one saving grace is, you hadn't seen any cancellations come through this week. So I guess that's a kind of a positive. And then, guys, we talk about yesterday, but I mean, corn put in a pretty good fight yesterday, given everything that was going on. We'll see how we close here today, but I thought it acted like a champ against everything that was going on, especially with beans.
Yeah, I agree. Right, like just beans are a lot more of an export market for sure, so they're going to be more susceptible to these kinds of headline news. Corn's more domestic.
Well, we're still the best game in town here for a little bit.
Yeah, it's cheap, right? Corn's cheap, wheat's cheap. All these things that we've talked about for weeks and weeks. That's still the case.
Yeah.
But if you got, and like we said, it's just like money flow, right? It's fear of recession. Everything sells off in a downturn economically, traditionally, right? A 2008 crash or all these things. It's like liquidate, get me out of everything, kind of regardless of value or price or.
Yeah. Just
so,
get out trade. I mean,
that's right.
Risk off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the good things come out or are supported, right? To your point. So corn is acting well in some of these moves. Hopefully speaks to it's just at good values.
Yeah, definitely. Well, right. I mean, not to belabor the fact, but this China deal is going to be a big deal for your markets here today.
Mostly, I think hogs are going to probably be the bigger focus, just on the meat area. I mean, like obviously beef is a more domestic kind of market. I mean, we still sell quite a bit to China, but nonetheless, there's definitely bigger buyers out there. So I think just in general, hogs are probably going to be the focus of the risk off. And we really didn't see that much yesterday. I mean, we saw a little bit of down in open interest on the live side, but we really didn't see that in hogs. So I found that pretty interesting, so it is kind of one of these things where, you're not exactly sure how this is going to react, but it just feels bad. And there's a lot of fear here. So, it feels like people are stepping back to some degree. I mean, at one point we were higher in hogs yesterday, so overall, cash news was a little bit weak. We were down $1.20. Carcass was back up 111. So, I mean, overall it's still going to trade. It's still, it's just you've got the fear trade right now, so and this is day number 2, so I think you're going to see a lot of people just back off, at this point, kind of want to see where the dust settles. But like on the cattle side of things, obviously the Packers trying to swoop in here, trying to get some cheaper cattle. I mean, we saw 208 trade in the South and there's still more to go here. The North was back up to 335, 336 and a half in Nebraska, and Iowa's like 335 all the way up to 345. So like things aren't as bad, I think, as they seem when you kind of detach yourself just directly from the futures. But on the other hand, there is some capital movement right now. We're going into April option expiration today on the live in the live cattle, and then we've got first notice day on Monday. So naturally, you've got kind of this flow, this money flow right now, kind of towards the back end of the market. But obviously, the headlines are really going to be the big trade right now. I mean, if it is going to be a 2008 kind of thing down the road, we'll see. It's hard to really predict that just because all this news is so fresh. Everybody's chasing their tails, and there's just too much fear. As I said yesterday, like cooler heads will typically prevail, but yeah, there's some real money on the table here that's just probably getting wiped out or backing off for the time being. It just seems like too big of a risk. So overall, wouldn't be surprised to see cash a little bit lower this week, and just like I said, maybe a little bit more liquidation today.
Very good. Appreciate the update there. Well, boys, we made it. We can all be proud of ourselves that we got through it. So Bri, why don't give us a little something to lighten the mood there as we go into the weekend for us. It's a Fun Fact Friday.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I agree. Let's get the little livety to the week here. A lot of talk coming out of DC, with everything going on, this is going to be generational. So I said, why don't we look back at all these generations that have come and gone and find some fun facts about each of them. Starting with the lost generation, people born from 1883 to 1900. Ryland, I think you would have fit into this generation. You're an old soul because many of them were obsessed with absinthe. Absence.
Absence.
Absence. Okay.
Hallucinogenic.
For a second, I'm like, yeah, that's not me.
A hallucinogenic green liquor dubbed the Green Fairy. They believe that this fueled creativity, but later many countries banned it because it was driving people mad. Hemming was a big proponent of this, and I'm sure he saw a lot of dancing elephants as he was writing Old Man in the Sea. The next generation is the greatest generation, people born from 1901 to 1927. They survived the Great Depression by eating some wild stuff. One in particular, Hoover stew, hot dogs, noodles, and tomato sauce. And if they didn't have hot dogs, they used raccoon meat. So pure survival mode there.
Pretty sure that's what Jack heated up in the microwave yesterday.
It was a little stinky in here, that's for sure. We were followed by the silent generation, 1920 to 1945. They grew up in the duck and cover drills, hiding under their desk to survive a nuclear bomb. They had a very strange mascot, Bert the Turtle. There we go. Thank you, Jack. Duck and cover. Kind of a bizarre mascot of optimism to survive a nuclear bomb hiding under a little desk. So
looks like he drank the green stuff.
I think he was
Our next generation is the baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. Pet rock craze. I don't get it. It was developed by Gary Dahl. $6 million he made by just putting googly eyes on rocks. So very strange fact there from the baby boomers. Followed by Generation X. This is mine here. 1965 to 1980. We embraced the mullet haircut. Business in the front, party in the back. MTV had actually a mullet madness bracket contest in the 90s. Jack, so if you want to cue up this picture.
That was a few. Oh, there
we go. That's not a shadow in the back. That's the party right there.
Party in the back.
That's the party.
That's the party right there.
90%.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that.
Still got that. Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. All right. So we're following up that generation with the millennials, 1981 to 1996. They were born. They turned avocado toast into a cultural punchline, a supposed reason why they couldn't buy houses. One Aussie millionaire seriously blamed their brunch habits on economic woes in 2017.
Geez, soft.
Oh, those darn millennials!
Avocado toast.
Looking at it,
just missed being part of the mullet crew, Jason.
Right?
Yeah, I still associate myself with the
Yes.
I had one back in the day too, man. Don't feel bad.
All right, we're next following up with Generation Z. They were born from 1997 to 2012. This was the generation of eating Tide Pods. Is a viral challenge in 2018, prompting laundry detergent companies to beg teens not to eat poison. Natural selection got a front seat to that. And after Generation Z, we go to Generation Alpha. 2013 to 2025, they were born. Barely out of diapers, are already outsmarting adults with tech. Some as young as 5 years old, as a culprit of spending thousands of dollars on toys through Alexa or iPads. Parents' bank accounts are probably trembling with that.
Buy with one click.
And then lastly, Generation Beta, 2025 to 2039. Too early for real facts in this generation, but if trends hold, there might be the first generation to have AI babysitters or argue with holographic teachers over homework assignments. So what to come is very strange. We have no idea what's in. I know, right?
It's
right.
Terrifying.
But hopefully that
Tide Pods to hallucinating.
Yes. So hopefully that livened up your week here, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks, Bri. We'll get a quick rundown of the markets here. May corn down 7, 450.5. May soybeans are down 28.5 now at 982.5. May Chicago wheat's down 13 1/4, 522 3/4 outside markets. The Dow's down a little over 1,000. S&P off 146. Real quick, our thoughts are with everybody down south that's going through these bad storms. We've got a number of clients that are experiencing a tough road down there. So hope everybody makes it through all right. And I know we got another day or so of some bad weather. So we got you guys in our thoughts there. Appreciate everybody that tunes in on a daily basis. If you wouldn't mind, throw us a like and certainly subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to do so. It'll keep you up to speed on everything that's going on with the markets and AgYield. So again, thanks to everybody that tunes in. We're doing this live every day that the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, 8:15 Central Time. Appreciate the thoughts and comments here this morning, guys. It was a good show. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and we look forward to talking again next week.
The War Room is proudly presented by AgYield. For over 50 years, the AgYield team has provided grain marketing and risk management solutions for growers across the country. Our veteran consultants harness cutting-edge technologies to pinpoint risk, optimize market performance, and protect your farm's profitability. Discover a new approach to farm revenue management at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.